Saturday afternoon in East Tennessee. I got to hurry. Facebook wouldn't let me post my last video. Said it was too long. But we're going to get it done. I'll read to you today out of Genesis 3. Starting in verse 1 says, Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which the Lord God had made. And he said unto the woman, Yea, hath God said, Ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden? And the woman said unto the serpent, We may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, God hath said, Ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die. Don't even touch it, is what God said. And the serpent said unto the woman, Ye shall not surely die, for God doth know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof, and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat. The serpent lied to her, but it wasn't a real hard thing. Apparently Eve had been looking at that tree. She'd been eyeing that tree. She'd been lusting after that fruit. It looked good. She wanted to touch it. We're the same way. We see things in this world, hey, man, it can't be that bad. Let me just give that a shot. And we do it a lot. We do it a lot, and it leads us astray. Galatians 2, starting in verse 11, Paul had to confront Peter about acting like the world, about walking on both sides of the fence. But when Peter was come to Antioch, Paul says, I withstood him to the face because he was to blame. For before that certain, which was Jews, came from James, he did eat with the Gentiles. But when they were come, he withdrew and separated himself, fearing them which were of the circumcision. And the other Jews dissembled likewise with him, insomuch that Barnabas was carried away with their dissimulation. But when I saw that they walked not uprightly according to the gospel, I said unto Peter before them all, If thou being a Jew livest after this manner of the Gentiles, and not as do the Jews, why compellest thou the Gentiles to live as do the Jews? We can't act like the world and expect to be a good witness for Christ. Here the Jews didn't think that Jesus alone was enough for salvation. Peter wasn't helping anyone out. He was playing both sides of the fence. He was trying to bring the Gentiles to Christ unless the Jews were around. Then he was trying to be with the Jews and do their customs. We can't do that. We're called to be separate from the world. We're called not to be equally yoked with the world. We're not supposed to be like that. But common sense has left the arena. Common sense is gone in this world. Satan is abounding, and we don't even care. Marijuana. I'm going to get on some toes today. I'm going to get on a lot of toes. Marijuana. It's not in the Bible. You're not going to find the word marijuana anywhere in the Bible. So Christians do it. Huh? Hey, it's not in the Bible. I can go out and smoke a little weed now and then. That one gets me. I mean, that one tears me up. How are you going to be a good witness in season and out of season when you're lit up on a marijuana cigarette or marijuana? How are you going to do? You can't do it. It says be instant in season and out of season, but it ain't in the Bible, so hey, I'll just ask Jesus later. There ain't going to be a whole lot of asking Jesus nothing when he comes. He's going to be doing the talking, you're going to be doing the listening. I'll just ask him when he comes whether it's okay if I toke a little marijuana. Common sense has left the arena. Let's talk about gambling a little bit. Hey, I'm going to step on some toes. The lottery was going to save the school system. We took the Ten Commandments out of school. We took the Bible out of school. We took prayer out of school. The lottery was going to save the schools. The lottery ain't done nothing for the schools. It has not helped the school system at all. I have guys now, when I worked, they'd come around and they'd ask me to buy tickets so their kid could play in sports. When I was in school, We might have bought a uniform. Everything else was paid for. Now your kid wants to play in sports. You got to pay. You got to pay big money. These kids are selling tickets because, oh, I asked them, I said, how'd you vote on that last tax levy? I ain't got no kids in school. How'd you vote on that last tax levy? And they'd look at me and smile, and they'd usually just walk away because they voted no. They said, no, we don't want to raise our taxes. But they want me to buy cookies so their kid can play sports. The lottery didn't help schools at all. It's just legalized gambling. Lottery, the poker gambling, it ain't in the Bible. So Christians do it. I know a preacher that goes to Las Vegas every year. He tells me he goes to buy clothes. What? No, you go to Sin City to buy clothes. I mean, that's what it's called. Las Vegas is called Sin City. You go there to buy clothes. You don't get involved in the gambling. Well, I overheard him one day. He didn't know I was working where I was working, and he was telling somebody else how he lost money at the slot machines. The guy that pulls the handle down. I don't know anything about it, but I do know a gambling hall, a casino. It's alcohol, and it's lusting after the dollar. It's not good. It's not the way Christians should be. Proverbs 13:11 says, wealth gotten by vanity shall be diminished, but he that gathereth by labor shall increase. You gathereth because you work, not by vanity, not by out there gambling. The love of money is the root of all evil. 1 Timothy 6:10, which while some coveted after, they have erred from the faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. They lusted after money. They pierced themselves through with many sorrows. The Bible says if a man will not work, neither shall he eat. It don't say nothing about going down to the gambling hall and hoping that you hit it big. That's not in the Bible. That's not. Not bragging whatsoever. You waste a lot of money gambling. I had to put a sump pump under the house, under the house, in the crawl space. And I went to Lowe's. They had like $200 just for the pump. I had to buy piping. I had to buy the pit. And I said, this is crazy. And I got to checking around. Rural King had them. Anyway, when it was all said and done, I saved $100. I saved $100, and I even bought a box of 380 pistol shells and still saved $100. And on Wednesday night, that was Tuesday. On Wednesday night, I went to church, and they had a missionary from the Philippines. Great, had a great message, but they're struggling to build their church. They got wiped out in a typhoon. And they've been building for 4 years, and it's not no fancy church like we got in Tennessee or Ohio. It's a block building. They finally got the foundation poured, the floor, and the walls up, and 4 years, and they still haven't had money for the roof. And I was sitting there listening to him, and I thought, man, that's a shame. He actually, his dad was a preacher. He was a preacher. He told his dad, he said, look, if we stop the missionary program for 1 year, we can finish this church. And his dad told him, son, that church, that construction can wait. There are people dying every day without Christ. They're dying and going to hell. That construction problem, it can wait. We'll get it when the Lord gives it to us. And I thought how right that man was. And I'm sure his son knew. But he was just throwing it out there. We could finish this building. And as I'm sitting there, I'm thinking, man, I hope they take up an offering. But if they don't, I'm going to shake his hand. I'm going to give him a 20. And the more he preached, and I thought, man, I don't have any more money than this. I would like to give him more. And then it dawned on me. I saved $100. I got $100 in my billfold. And I'm not bragging that God gave it to me. But when we went up, they took an offering up for him, and I put that $100 bill in there. Hey, it's not to glorify me. That man needed it. His church needed it. The people where he is from in the Philippines, they needed him to be able to get out and witness. What if I'd have went down to the casino and said, hey, maybe I can turn this $100 into $1,000? No. Don't be taking a chance. Like, don't be buying your lottery tickets. Don't be gambling it away. If you got a little extra money and you ain't needing it, which is what you got, if you're gambling. Give it to a missionary. Give it to a church. Hey, just think about it. The love of money is the root of all evil. Why are you in a gambling hall to start with? You're a Christian. What are you doing in there? You get upset when you lose. Most people get upset when they lose, huh? They're in there to make money. Wouldn't a missionary be better off with that money? We're going to go somewhere else now. I'm going to talk tattoos. I'm going to talk tattoos. Romans 12:2 says, "Be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God." Common sense has left the arena. You walk around, people are tattooed up from head to toe. They spend thousands and thousands of dollars on tattoos. They look like human billboards while walking down the street. I do not get it. They say a tattoo should represent something. So you're getting a tattoo to represent something. You're glorifying the creature more than the creator when you do that. I'm sorry. You're glorifying the creature more than the creator when you get your body all tatted up. I don't understand it, except common sense has left the arena. Another thing that Christians do and just shocks me, but we changed the name of it. Abortion. Christians will vote for a politician that supports abortion. I do not understand that. We changed the name from murder, which it is. It's the murder of innocent children of God. We changed the name to abortions, and Christians will vote for it. Huh? They'll vote for it in a heartbeat. They'll turn down a guy that is against abortion just to vote for one. I don't care how bad he is. We got one in there right now. He's a terrible example for America. No morals whatsoever. He got the AGBTQL 1, 2, 3 people. He's promoting them right and left in our government. He got a assistant health secretary, some guy named Ralph. Now he changed his name to Rachel. Now he's Rachel Levine. Some old dude dressing in a wig and dress. And our government is promoting this clown. He's the assistant health secretary. He's got mental issues, and here we are promoting him as the assistant health secretary. But abortion, why would a Christian vote for anyone that promotes the murder? It's just, you don't change the name with this old boy. It's still murder of innocent children of God. We got to do better. We've got to be a witness. I worked with a preacher when I was young. I mean, I'm young, I'm talking early 30s. And you don't think you're on a pedestal. People are watching everything you do. And if you're a pastor of a church, they're really watching you. And people used to come around to me and that guy got along good, and we got into some stuff. Nothing bad, nothing evil, just messing around. And people would come up to me, "You know what your pastor did?" Well, he wasn't my pastor. He's just a really good friend. And I'd explain, "Look, dude, he didn't do anything wrong. Why are you condemning him?" But they're watching. They're watching all the time. And one day, somebody said, "You know what he said?" And I told him, that's not what he said, and that's not what he meant if he did say it. But that time I went and told him, I said, "Man, you know what they said." And it bothered him. And he went home, and the next day he come in and he said, "You know what? I've decided something." And makes so much sense to me. He said, "If I can't say it from behind the pulpit, I ain't going to say it." Think about that. If you're a Christian and you can't do something from behind the pulpit, you ought not be doing it. The world is watching everything you do and everything you say, and if you can't do it from behind the pulpit, or you can't say it from behind the pulpit, you ought not be doing it. You're hurting your witness. You're injuring the whole cause of Christ when a Christian does something or says something he ought not be doing. You got to protect your witness. Gambling. You ain't protecting your witness. You're out lusting after money. Eve, she was lusting after that fruit. By that one act, sin entered into the world and death followed it. Now we have death because of that one act of sin that Eve did. You're high on marijuana? 2 Timothy 4:2 says, preach the word. Preach the word of God. Be instant in season and out of season. Reprove, rebuke, exhort with all long suffering and doctrine. How are you going to do that if your mind's all fuzzed up on a marijuana cigarette? How are you going to reprove? How are you going to rebuke? How are you going to tell somebody they're wrong when your head's all fuzzy to start with and your witness is in the toilet because you're high? I got to calm down. We've got to protect our witness. I worked with another guy, drummer in a big Baptist church, and I knew that he would say a few things when I was around that he ought not be saying. But then I had people come up to me. You know what your buddy said? It was terrible. I mean, it wasn't all that bad, except the fact that he was a Christian. That made it terrible. His witness was shot with that guy. I'd been praying with that guy, or praying for that guy that he would receive Christ. And now I got another Christian that's telling dirty jokes. It's terrible. Why, that guy said, I'm just as good as he is. The only difference was that drummer, he did know Jesus Christ, I do believe. He just wasn't living it. His example was in the toilet because of the way his mouth was. You got to protect your witness. I'm telling you. I might have stepped on some toes today. Maybe somebody needed it. I need to know. I need to know when I'm messing up. That preacher was right. If I can't say it or if I can't do it from behind the pulpit, I ain't going to do it no more. I ain't going to do it. I'm going to try constantly to be a better person, to be a Christian, to be Christ-like. That's what we're called. We're called to be Christ-like. Old things are passed away when you accept Jesus Christ. All things become new. If therefore, 2 Corinthians 5:17, therefore, if anyone is in Christ, he is a new creature. Old things have passed away, and behold, all things become new. We're supposed to change. We're not supposed to be like the rest of the world any longer once we give our life to Christ. Don't be gambling your money away. Find you a missionary that needs it. Take it to the church. Give it to the church. Don't be wasting money on tattoos trying to look like the rest of the world. Take that money to church. They'll use you. You're just going to waste it away. A gambling house is not in business to lose money. Your chances of winning are a lot less than theirs. They're going to make money or they wouldn't be in business. Think about that. Don't be conformed to the world. Don't get your head all fuzzed up on marijuana just because it ain't in the Bible. Quit voting for politicians that support abortion and support the LGBT queer community. Just stop. You're a Christian. You're supposed to be better than that. Don't be transformed to this world. Be ye different. Don't be unequally yoked to the world. All right. God bless and pray for America.